All right, fifth graders, excuse me. You know what time it is. It's time for another read aloud out of Real Life Superheroes with myself, Mr. Combs. So, we're going to continue reading about Richard Martin today. And so, just be thinking about those questions I had posed to you yesterday about Richard Martin. So as we read, be thinking about what kind of person Richard Martin was and use that textual evidence to support your answer. As we read, also be thinking about how the author's use of visuals helps the reader better understand the impacts of Richard Martin. And then I want you to still be thinking about trying to make a connection. Do you have anyone in your life that you would consider your own real life superhero and why? Before we begin, we are going to talk about some vocabulary that we'll encounter on this second section of reading today. So our vocabulary for pages 7 through 10. Inherited means to receive from an ancestor or family member after their death. Tenants are a person who rents or leases a home or land. Mistreated means to treat badly. Cruelty means acting in a mean-spirited or brutal way. Okay, another challenge today. Try and use one of these vocabulary words in a response for your writing bingo. So, without any further ado, we will get reading. So, we finished up on page 6 yesterday. And so now, what we are going to do is we are going to start on page 7. So, handing out punishment. In 1794, Richard's father died, leaving his land to Richard. Richard also inherited the right to hold a local court on the land. Richard surprised his tenants by using the court to punish any of them who mistreated their farm animals. Richard usually fined his tenants, but sometimes he imprisoned them for a few days on an island on his estate instead. And so here we can see a picture of some cattle. Richard wanted all the animals on his land to be treated kindly. And then we can see kind of down here another caption. In the 18th and early 19th century, some people were naturally kind to their animals, but many were not. Many people beat or starved their animals without thinking they were doing anything wrong. Okay, and so I want you to think here, do you agree with Richard's tactics, specifically what he would do for his tenants? Okay, so sometimes putting them in a prison on an island if they were mistreating those animals. And so if you were Richard, would you do something similar or would you do something different? All right, changing opinions. During his career as an MP, Richard tried to persuade his fellow MPs that it was wrong to mistreat animals. He wanted them to support a law that would make cruelty to animals a crime. Richard wanted to stop cruel sports like bear baiting. Here we can see a picture of this bear baiting where a bear was kind of attacked with dogs. Okay. At first, most people just laughed at Richard's ideas. Few people thought animals had feelings or needed any laws to protect them. However, like many real-life superheroes, Richard kept trying to change their minds. Slowly but surely, he got more people on his side. Here's a kind of political cartoon that would be in some of those newspapers early on. Okay, Richard was often shown in newspaper cartoons with donkey ears. I want you to think, why would they portray him with donkey ears? All right. Outline mistreatment. It took Richard many years, but in 1822, when he was 68 years old, he finally managed to get Parliament to pass some of the first laws in the world to protect animals. These laws were known as Martin's Act. They made it illegal to beat or mistreat cattle and other farm animals. This was a great success for Richard and his supporters, but Richard wanted more. He wanted a law that banned cruelty to all animals. Here we see another picture of him. Richard accused a man of mistreating a donkey. He surprised the court by having the donkey brought into the room so people could see the mistreatment for themselves. All right. Our final page, page 10, royal approval. 2 years after Martin's Act was passed, Richard helped to form the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, or the SPCA, to bring people who were cruel to animals to court. The society was so well thought of that Queen Victoria granted it royal status, and it became the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, or the RSPCA. This charity still fights for animal welfare today. Okay, our little box right here. One of the many people inspired by Richard was William Wilberforce, MP. William is better known for his campaign against slavery. However, he was also a great supporter of Richard's work and a member of the SPCA. Changing the face of animal welfare. As a result of the work that Richard began, anti-cruelty laws and animal welfare groups were introduced around the world. Millions of animals have benefited from his determination to make a difference in the way they are treated. A year after Richard's death, laws were passed banning cruelty to cats and dogs and cruel sports such as bear baiting. Okay, we are going to scoot back to our PowerPoint. And I'm going to show you now kind of how Richard Martin's Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals has progressed over the course of the years. So, Richard Martin's Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals has continued to make huge impacts across the world since its founding. Some of the things they have continued to work on include helping provide military families with financial assistance for bringing their pets with them when they move, helping put an end to dogfighting, helping promote awareness of adopting shelter animals, helping end illegal poaching of animals like elephants, and then they also, every year, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals name a Kid of the Year. And so here is a video of the Kid of the Year from 2019. So bear with me. All right, and here we go. Oops.
Brady is a typical 9-year-old boy. He loves to play with his friends and be active and play sports. But he's also a very caring and giving child, where he always wants to give back.
We're going to try one more time. Tried to get it full screen for you, but it's not working, so
Brady is a typical 9-year-old boy. He loves to play with his friends and be active and play sports. But he's also a very caring and giving child, where he always wants to give back.
I was watching the TV and there was this canine that did not have a vest. The dogs are very important. They're very smart. They protect a lot of people, so they should be safe too. I asked my mom if we could buy that dog a vest.
That spawned a little GoFundMe to try and save up enough money for a vest, because they're very expensive.
When people saw my GoFundMe and started donating.
Brady started that GoFundMe page and he started selling candy bars at his baseball games or his school functions. We'd be at a school little carnival, all the kids are playing, and there's Brady. He sets up his table and he's selling candy bars.
I'm selling the candy bars to buy a vest for a police dog.
For a police dog?
Get that money out here. And what kind of canine?
Police dogs.
Oh.
How much are they?
$2. We raised enough money to buy our first vest. This vest I donate is bulletproof and stab-proof.
He started with the Ohio State Troopers here locally, so he donated 4 vests to the troopers. The money just kept coming in to GoFundMe. Then it became a mission for Brady. Well, we got 4, let's get 10, let's get 20, let's get all the Ohio State Patrol. And then the news started picking up on it across the country, and there was Connecticut, and here we are over 10 states later, he's getting vests for everyone around the country.
Work for the Ohio State Highway Patrol, and I've been a canine handler for 7 years now. His name is Rexy. He's very loyal to me. We make a great team. The beauty of these vests is that they provide ballistic protection, but at the same time they also work as a harness, so you can work with them when you're tracking, doing area searches and building searches. It's designed to be worn year-round, so you can wear it when it's 90 degrees out, or the dog can have it on when it's 5 below out. You just never want to think about your dog possibly being shot or killed. And if that were to happen, I'd be devastated, but now thanks to Brady, he is protected. So it makes my job much, much easier.
As of this date, he's raised over $100,000 for these vests. He's got 93 vests, and he's still going. There's, I think, another 65 on a waiting list, and that grows every day. A troop from Afghanistan reached out to Brady, and their dog doesn't have a vest. And they're put on the waiting list, and Brady's gonna do his best to get this troop a vest.
There's still a lot of canines that don't have a vest, and my goal was to buy as many vests as I can. I feel proud that I protected a lot of canines.
All right, so that is just one example of how a kid was able to make a difference and a connection back to the SPCA, which we know Richard Martin created. So thanks for listening. I apologize for some of the technological difficulties trying to get the YouTube video full screen, but I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.